Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another Get Ready With Me. This time I wanted to show you some new bits that I bought and that had arrived, and I asked you on Instagram actually what you wanted to see because there's two palettes and two new blushes that I wanted to show you. I also have a brow product that I wanted to show you in action and a gloss, but the two palettes, two blushes were a bit throwing me off, so I wasn't sure what you wanted to see. Asked you on Instagram, it was very close. It was like 53% and 55%. So wasn't a big, I want to see one instead of the other, but we might do another one of these with the other palette. But today we are going to try this guy. It only took forever to get to me. Almost a month, I want to say, not even, a little bit less than a month, but usually it doesn't take so long. It was just stuck at like before customs even for, I don't know, 2 weeks. So maybe I should also tell you, this is the holiday Pat McGrath palette, the Celestial Odyssey palette, and this is how she looks like inside. I already used it twice, and I did a very neutral look with, well, the two neutral browns, this guy, and I think this guy as well. And I also used the gold and the copper, the orangey shade here yesterday in a look. So today I wanted to do something else, maybe dipping into more the pink or like lavender shade right here. I am going to start out with this pink, lighter pink shade. This palette is way more pink heavy than I expected, I must say. This is also a very bright pink. I didn't even swatch it now that I think about it. So I just tried it the other day and I didn't really like swatch it on my arm or something to see how all the colors look. I just go off of the colors in the pans, which, I mean, I guess that's how normal people do as well. This is a very bright pink. Since I'm not going anywhere, I'm even thinking maybe we can do two looks. That could be interesting. And then I can show you the blush on. This is a very bright pink, but it's on the warm side, like more of a corally type of pink, and it blended really nicely. I have no issues with Pat McGrath's mattes usually. I have a few of her big palettes and two of her quads. I have two big palettes and two of her quads, and this just worked really, really well. I was a little bit disappointed with the amount of mattes in this palette. There's only 4, and there's 2 browns and 2 pinks. I really don't think we needed this pink. Where is it? This pink right here and this pink right here. They're just quite similar. I'm actually gonna try to use the other one, which is a little bit more dusty and a little bit deeper. So it will give a little bit of a different vibe if you use it, but on the eye, to be honest, can you see the difference between the pink I put here and the pink I put there? I don't really. Also not deep enough to deepen. Like, I would have preferred maybe then a deeper purple or something else. I'm taking the dark brown in the palette to go in my outer V now on top of that, because that didn't deepen at all. I want to use this shade right here, which is called Lotus Lux, on the middle of my lid, because yeah, we're going monochromatic pink, it looks like, but I also think there's a lot in this palette that works for that. And I'm also like, I prefer this pink to, for example, the one that is in Divine Rose 2, in terms of tones, but oh my god, the repetitiveness. So this is the only thing, like, I wish I could depot this and pop in colors that I like, because there's so much pink. And I'm not necessarily disappointed by the colors, because you know when going in what you're getting, but it's really 1, 2, 3, 4 pinks, and that's a bit much, I feel like. The next shade I'm gonna take is this rose gold. I think it looks like a pink to gold shift. It is called Heavenly Body, and applying that to the inner corner. Wow, the sun just came out. It's brutal in my eyes. This one seems a much sheerer topper-like shade. Let me get the mirror closer. and it didn't apply great with a brush. So I'm taking it with my finger, and it's actually quite a bit more chunky than the other one. So the other shimmer was quite a smooth metallic type, and this is more chunky, shimmery, special, let's say. And I ended up putting it everywhere, but I hope you can see how beautiful this is. Nice, very nice. I still have shade on my hand. Very nice. Very reflective, quite a lot of sparkle, both pink and gold sparkle. Nice, so there are a little bit. It's not a very special shade like her usual VR shade or astral shades, but this is not bad at all. Let me do the other eye in a different way before I go and do my my base. I'm still gonna keep it on the pink side because I want to use then this other pink that I tried as a second, but now I want to use it by itself in my crease. So then we can also compare how they look pretty much next to each other, if you can really see a difference. I mean, it does seem like the vibe is different, right? Like the other one is more of a coral, bright spring summer shade, whereas this one is a bit more muted, a bit more vampy maybe, elegant of a rose tone. But again, did we need both? I think she could have just chosen one. Also, sometimes Italian comes out. Also, it being a holiday palette, I wouldn't really expect a lot of spring, summer, bright, corally pink shades. Hello, sun. It's been raining all morning, and I thought I'll take the morning nap time to film. But now the sun is in my eyes. Anyways, I'm taking the deep brown again to deepen the outer corner. And now what you can see is the glow given by the Paula's Choice Defense Moisturizer. Because that's all I have on my skin right now. My SPF 30 that I'm trying to finish. The glow that it gives, it's quite intense. I pulled in my curtain because it was ridiculous. Now it's full on bright sun on the wall. I don't know what I want to do, so I'm gonna swatch a few of the shades that I was interested in. This one here is a very satiny gold. Maybe it wants to be a duochrome, but it's very satin, so I don't really mess with these type of shades. I don't really care for them, but she has them in her big palettes as well. This one here instead is a very beautiful rose gold metallic. We have the more lavender shade, also beautiful and metallic. And then I also wanted to look at this dark, it's like a black base with a ton of little sparkles. They are purple, they are blue, they're green. I think I'm gonna use that one, at least in the center of the lid, because I'm too curious. This whole time you have been seeing me use my Nabla brushes. Oh, maybe not for this one. Let me change the brush around. This is also an Nabla brush from the Amethyst set. And I have just purchased all three of their sets again because I love these brushes. Admittedly, maybe not for this shade. Let me bring in the finger. I don't love using my fingers too much, especially for dark shade, because you don't have any control on where the eyeshadow goes. And especially for a dark shade, you don't want to make mistakes because then you are going to be stuck with dark eyeshadow in places. But it seemed like this one wouldn't actually come onto a brush very easily. The previous one was quite fluffy, and this one instead is a very stiff one. Let me see if I wet my brush, if that helps. And this is again the previous fluffy Nabla brush from the Ruby, and then apply that. Yeah, much better. It had a little bit of trouble picking the shade up, but with a wet brush it worked really well. And this is a beautiful, beautiful shade of, yeah, it actually turns out to look quite teal on the eye, which I'm not mad about. I love teal eyeshadow, as you guys know. And this would work both with the rose in the crease as well as the other lighter brown. And the sparkles look nice. I can tap it on a little bit to get more spark. Yes, yes, oh my god, yes. I'll put some liner on. I'll go for a black for this eye because it's very deep and I want to deepen my lash line even more. I'll tight line a little bit as well. And this is the full spectrum liner from Makeup Geek. Some of my favorite liners. I use these a ton. Just smudging them out a little bit, so that it doesn't look like I tried to do an eyeliner. On the other eye, I'm going to take also from Makeup Geek the shade Plumeria. These have been gifted to me, by the way, but I had purchased the previous version before the reformulation myself of the previous line. I had Plumeria, this plummy shade, and I had the mint, which they didn't bring out in the second launch, in the relaunch of these. Now, before I go and do my lower lash line inner corner, I want to do my base. And that is also a little bit of an update on what I usually do with my Fenty Eavesdrop. I have recently started using it with my hands. So what I do is I place a small drop and then I do one section of my face with it. And I think it really applies much better with the fingers than with a brush. I haven't tried a sponge because I don't usually, I'm not bothered in the morning to do sponges, and I just apply it with my fingers. It's not, again, my favorite way to do things because then I get a dirty hand and I'm not close to a sink. I mean, it's in the other room, but I often don't get up during doing my makeup. It just takes too much, like more time to get up and do other things. And in this way, I get a better application in the sense that the product melts better into my skin. It doesn't sit on my skin as much as sometimes I see with using a brush. So I actually like it better, and it really feels like a second skin. You can see that it just uniforms my skin tone and covers a little bit of the difference in colors that are in my skin, but it doesn't have a ton of coverage, and that's also not the idea, of course, of this product. But that is a little bit of a difference from the way I have been applying it before. And the concealer I'm using is the Clio Makeup Coco Love number 6, I believe. Yes. Not Coco Love, Oh My Love it's called. And this is an Italian indie brand started by an influencer, the OG beauty influencer of Italy, I guess you can call her. And I quite like this one. It has a good amount of coverage without it being too much. You need a very small amount. The price is in a good mid-range, a little bit like Nabla Cosmetics, and they do ship at least to Europe, I'm sure, if not internationally all over. To Europe, I'm sure, because they ship to me. So it's worth checking out. I have a few products from her line, like the liquid lipstick and a Coco Love, which is these tinted bombs that she has. They have quite a wide range of also eyeshadows and blushes, but that is not her style of eyeshadow is not really my style, so I didn't ever, I don't know, there are loose pans that you can make your own palette, but it's all very neutral and like buildable type of shades, where I am more of a like, I mean, look what I just did to my face. Subtle is not something I do in terms of eyeshadow or makeup in general. I'm gonna set my base a little bit with the Nabla setting powder. And this one, look at the nice dip that I have in there. Can you see it? Yeah, like that. This one is part of my project plan, but I really like it, so it would be something that I would repurchase in the future. And now let's finish these eyes. I'm gonna apply the liner in my inner corner on this side and smudge it out a bit. Or inner outer corner, I can't speak this morning. We had a bit of a hard time lately because we've all been sick in the family. I'm taking the pink that I have in the crease also on my lower lash line. We've all been sick in the family, and first Andrea, then my husband, now me, and it's been suboptimal. For the lower lash line, I'm gonna take this rose gold shade right here that I swatched earlier and apply it right here. Oh, it doesn't seem very different from the one I have on my lid though. That's somewhat suboptimal. And then I'm taking the lightest shade in this corner and applying it in my inner corner. I just flip the brush around. This is again a Nabla brush from the Aquamarine set. Not exactly sure where my camera cut off, but I finished my eyes, and on this other side I applied the lavender on my inner corner and this shade on my lower lash line, together with the same dark rose that is here from my crease also there. A little bit of mascara and that's it. And I think the eyes are done, crazy as it looks, with the different eye looks. But I wanted to play. It's my mama day, the baby's sleeping, and that's all fine. Now brows, I wanted to show you the Mulac eyebrow tint. Now, I discussed this in my haul and I'm still trying to make friends with it. It is very pigmented and this brush is not very precise. So you end up applying a ton of product. So I always start from the outer part of my brow to make sure I don't deposit too much on the inner part. And you can see I really cannot make brow strokes. I cannot draw brow strokes with this one. Let me scoot closer to my mirror and probably you can see better now. I didn't dip this again because now that I have less product, I can go and try to apply it to the inner portion of my brow without overdoing it. But I think, yeah, I was mistaken when I thought that this would be a brow pomade in a more liquidy and with a brush format. It's more indeed a tint that goes onto your skin rather than drawing brow hairs. It also has a little bit of a gel quality in the sense that it dries down and kind of sets also on your brow hairs. And let me make sure that I got enough off. So it can be a one brow product, let's say, but you have to be so careful in how you apply it because it is so dang pigmented that I feel like it takes me as long as using my dip brow pomade. I don't know, have you guys tried this, at least the Italian friends? Mulac is again another Italian indie brand. Also ships all over Europe, and I love their lipsticks, especially liquid lipsticks and regular bullet lipsticks. They have really, really nice formula and shades. But this is how it looks, and I think it's a little bit bold. It's quite a bold brow, and I have the shade 03 Perfect Brown. It's a maybe somewhat warmer chocolate brown, but I wouldn't expect this to be too dark for me because I don't know. I have dark hair. I have dark features, so I don't know. It is what it is. For bronzer and contour, I am still revisiting the Patrick Ta bronzer and contour duo because I think I'm making peace with it. I think I am okay with the depth, because this right now, this is just the contour part. It is maybe a little bit more dramatic, but it's not. You see how it blends nicely? It doesn't give you a stripe. I also prefer to use it with this Nabla brush, which is the cheek shaper. Was not a new purchase, but it is my usual contour and cream bronzer type of brush, because it's synthetic and it has a point, so you can kind of direct it a little bit better, but it also tapers nicely outwards so that you can actually blend quite nicely. I don't know, I like this one better than the angled brush that I was using previously from Nabla for this. And then for the powder side, I want to make sure that I close this, and then I use my, again, tapered brush. This is a 101 Lux Face Definer by Zoeva, and just take the powder bit, and this one is more of a warm wash with a little bit of more dimension. And I think you can see the difference when I use one or both. I do like that this one brings back the warmth that the contour shade doesn't have, because I like bronzing, I guess it's called, but bronzing more than contouring by itself. And now it's finally time to use the new blush. This is the Made by Mitchell liquid blusher, which he calls a blush. A blush. And this is in the shade Cherry Cola. I got this secondhand from a girl who had only swatched it and didn't like the shade, and this is how it looks like. Online it seemed like way more deep and scary of a shade, and I'm happy it isn't. I wanted to try the formula for a while, and yeah, they're not super expensive. They're available on Beauty Bay, for example. They're available on here also on Boozy Shop, I think. Where else have I seen it? No, I think that's the only two places I've seen it that ships to the Netherlands. And it's not really too much. They're not super pigmented in the sense that they're not usable. I always apply it on my hand and then tap in with a brush. Start always from my temple and then come down, because if I have too much here, it's easier then to diffuse it. If I get too much product here, then it's harder for me to diffuse and correct that, because if my blush gets too close, then my face shape gets let's say ruined, but it's not really ruining. Here as well, I go a little bit overboard. Whatever I have left over on my brush, I just tap on my nose just to get a little bit of color. And I mean, you've seen me with a lot of blush all the time. So this one is Cherry Cola. I think it's quite a nice rose. It matches quite nicely this color that I have in my crease. I think it's a very nice fall and winter shade, actually. I'm very happy. I was initially interested in buying Mango Daiquiri, which is like a bright orange shade. So that was not what I wanted, or not what I would have used now anyway. So I'm happy I got this one for a fraction of, or half the price from secondhand. So this is the blush now. I wouldn't actually apply a highlighter because I think my face is glowy enough. I don't need more highlight. And I wanted to show you another thing that I purchased, and that is the Tower 28 gloss. This is in the shade Cashew. I don't know that it fits here that well though, but we are going to try. I am going to apply the BFF3 liner by Colourpop. And I already had some lip balm on, so that helped me blend it a little bit. And then on top of that, I'm gonna apply the gloss. This is an extremely smooth gloss, but it is absolutely non-sticky. So I mentioned before that, for example, I don't love the Fenty Beauty gloss because it's thick and then it sticks. This one is a little bit on the thicker side. I also applied quite a bit, and look at the glass effect that it gives to my lips. I love it, but it is absolutely non-sticky. It feels so smooth. I really like this. I didn't have the best experience with the Tower 28 cheek products, as you know. I discussed it a few times on my channel, and I decluttered both the bronzer and the blusher that I got from Tower 28, but I do like this gloss. It feels really nice, quite nourishing, hydrating, extremely smooth. The glossy effect, this is a creamy gloss. It doesn't have any glitter particles in it or anything. It's really just the shine is given by the formula. It's pretty beautiful, I would say. I actually am excited. It's the first time I try that one on. I had tried the blush and the palette on before. Maybe a few last thoughts on the palette. Now, everybody was saying how this one doesn't have any special shades in her, like the baked formulas that are the last four in her big mothership palette. And that is true, but that does not mean that it is without dimension. I was quite impressed with this shade that I put on the eye right here, which is this one in the corner. It's called Heavenly Body. This guy right here, very nicely dimensional, as well as this dark teal black shade. It has a ton of little sparkles in so many different colors, and it's not maybe visible to someone at that distance like you are from me, but I like it and it catches the light very nicely. So yeah, I'm actually quite happy. The color story is weird, but that happens often with her palettes of this size, like last year's and this year's. One thing that I'm still very excited to try is this guy right here, which is Citrine Envy. Yeah, Citrine Envy. It is my color, but that is also why I didn't want to use it immediately, because I know it's the first thing that I would reach for. So I want to use this and this other teal, and I'm actually quite happy with the lavender shade right here. But I must say that some of these shades I could do without, like this pink. Meh. One of these two pinks, probably I would get rid of this one to have instead another deeper shade to darken the outer corner. I don't know, a bit more mattes. This shade right here, which is the satiny that I showed you the swatch of, I don't really see the point. I hate satin eyeshadows. What's the point? I don't understand them. I don't like them in this stage of my life. So that is a little bit of a first impression of the palette and the blush, and yeah, I'm curious to know if you have bought the Pat McGrath palette and how you're liking it. I haven't regretted the purchase. Is it worth, what did I pay, 73 euros, because there was a 10% off discount with at launch? I don't know. If it would have been 50, it would have been better, I think. The packaging is very nice. It has a magnetic closure that I have trouble opening. I didn't take away the foil on my mirror because I don't use the mirror. The little ribbons here I don't really care for, but I don't mind either. It feels nice and luxurious, but it's huge. I mean, it's huge. And it could have been smaller, yes. Could it have been cheaper also? But you get a ton of product. You get a lot of different colors, different shades and variety. It's not a standalone. I almost would feel very tempted to depot it and use the shimmers in combination with other things, but I won't, because this is plastic. So to depot it, I would probably go absolutely crazy and ruin the packaging, and that is not what I want to do. I wish it was magnetic though. If I could pop out these shades, I would be happier. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Sorry if I'm a bit rambly, but I haven't filmed in weeks, and yeah, I've been sick, baby's been sick, work is driving me insane, and we'll catch up eventually. I'm always on Instagram and I show more there probably than here. I'll try to be better at it. Thank you so much for watching and for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.